Well, g'day. Today we're going to talk about the three most important things to do before you record your vocals. Well, g'day. My name's Steve Collum from The Secrets to Music Success. And today we're going to be talking about the top three things that you need to do before you push that record button. So let's dive right in. So number one, you've got to prepare before you go to the studio. Before you, even if you're recording yourself, before you push that record button, you've got to prepare. That's not a time for you practicing and trying to learn the parts. You've got to prepare and practice those parts before you actually go into the studio. So as an example, what I do is I practice every day just singing and being in tune and just my scales and doing harmonies and doing runs and doing that kind of thing. And then when I go into the studio, I don't practice. I just go ahead and sing the parts that I've practiced. So as an example, so if you're about to go in the studio and you're about to sing the song you've written or sing someone's song, you need to practice it. So you need to go through the verses, the choruses, the pre-choruses, go through the bridges, go through everything and know that song back to front. So you don't want to be looking at lyrics and being reading off lyrics. You need to know that song. And then when you freshly go into the studio that day, when you're fresh and you haven't maybe even sung the song that day, you're fresh and you're ready just to hit it hard and you just launch and go for it. And usually, 3 or 4 takes and you've got the main part. And it's, I've actually heard Michael Jackson's Want You Back. I've heard he did 2 takes. I've heard 2 takes of the one that you that was on the album. And it's really cool because in that first take, he just nails it. He just nails it. There's like one pitchy note in it, one out of the whole thing. He's phenomenal. But then he does a second take of it, and second take it's just got a little less energy, and it's very interesting to just see that that first take. So if you use that same example and you practice your song, you know exactly what you're going to do, and then you're just feeling good, and then you turn up at the studio and you just launch into it and you just go for it. There's no holding back. There's no you're not thinking of the lyrics. You're not thinking, oh, maybe I should go up higher here. There's no hesitation. It's just a performance where you just give everything of you. And so that's number one. So you got to make sure you prepare before you push record. So then the second one, get into the mood. Now, what that means is if you're singing a ballad, if you're singing like a love song, or even if it's a sad song, what is going to kind of get you into the mood? It's going to be like candles or something. It's going to dim the lights. Don't be like bright. Maybe even try singing in the evening. Keep it kind of like you really want that kind of that feeling of that mood. And a lot of the times, what I do as a singer, and especially on written songs that I've written myself, I can feel it. I've had a coffee and I'm just like ready to go and I'm feeling good. It's a bright day probably. And if the song's up tempo, I know that in that moment, I got to go for it. Just go for it. Just sing it, just go for it because the vibe is there. And that brings me to talking about the vibe. So the vibe is just so, so, so important. There's been so many times where I've recorded a song or you've heard a song and maybe it's not perfect, but for some reason you just absolutely love that take or you love that song. And it's because of the vibe, no matter how good, our goal is to obviously is to record really good, use really good equipment, treat your room and do everything right. That's our goal. But at the end of the day, it's the vibe. So you just got to remember that you've got to always make sure you've got the vibe, which is in the mood. So, if you're feeling sad or, you're just feeling a bit down day, don't sing that upbeat fun song that you had on your schedule. Change it, write something else, or record something else, or come back the next day, or go out and get happy. Get into a brighter kind of mood. Get into a way that you can go in there and you are actually, honestly, not pretending, not acting, but you feel good and you're about to sing and you're about to, just launch into it. And one little side note on that is positivity. Go out and be thankful. If you're feeling down and you're like, I got to sing an up-tempo song or a happy song or something that got to be a bit more brighter, a bit more fun. Maybe it's a party song. Then go out and be thankful. Think about 100 or 10 or 15 different things you can be thankful for. You know, the opportunities you have, and come back, and then you feel good. You're feeling good, and you're like, and then you can just launch it. So, and it's the same for the other side. If you're singing something that's got to be a little bit more maybe heartfelt or a little bit more, you know, kind of like maybe it's a sad song, maybe it's a goodbye song, or you know, close your eyes, imagine that the situation you're in. Like maybe you wrote the song, you know, you broke up with someone, or go back to some of those memories, and remember how bad that felt, and then sing it. You know, that's the mood. You're creating the mood. You know, often when I'm recording someone else, if we're singing a song about a breakup or a sadder song, I'll just stop recording and stop making jokes, and start asking some deep questions like, how did that feel? You know, give me 3 or 4 words on how that feel. Did it feel like, you know, you felt like your heart was ripped out, you felt torn, you felt like betrayed, you know, maybe you felt, and you just start getting all these feelings and that's what creates the mood for that song. And I tell you what, vibe is just king on that. So when you come in and you sing with that right mood and that right emotion, you nail it. It just sounds great, and you can fix up the tuning and all that. And that's where the preparation of singing it in tune, learning your voice, do that in your practice time. So not when you come into the studio. All right. So number 3 is get out of your head. So these are 3 things to do before you push record. And that comes back to, and they all kind of tie in, you know, coming back to number 1, where it's like I was saying how you don't read your lyrics, you know, to prepare, know what you're singing about. Don't be reading your lyrics as you're singing, because you'll be in your head, you're reading those lyrics. How can you be expressing it or feeling it when you're just reading those lyrics? And so that's a classic thing. Just make sure you've got your lyrics. Often what I'll have my lyrics there as a guide, and you know, and I know what I'm singing. I've sung it so many times, I've practiced it, but I have it as a guide there. And if I'm like, where am I singing? It's right there, and all I need is the first couple of words, and I'm like, bang, straight back into the rest of this, you know, into the rest of that verse or pre-chorus, you know. So if you find yourself getting in your head, like thinking, oh, it needs to be more in pitch, oh, I'm not singing correctly, or you know, I want the tone of that, you're starting to get in your head, and that loses the vibe. The vibe is when you feel good. If you're singing an upbeat, fun song, you feel great, you feel awesome, you just walk into the studio, you bust open the door, walk in, and just be like, and just go for it, you know, get 3 or 4 takes of that, and then see what you got, you know. But I tell you what, the vibe is everything. But coming back to number 3, you got to get out of your head. One of the things that I've done often when I'm recording another artist, or you know, I record myself too, is like if there's somebody in the room, you've got to be in a kind of a safe place, you know, a safe zone where you can do anything, you can make mistakes, and you're not going to be judged by somebody in the room, and you're not going to judge yourself. You've got to be in that kind of safe place. And I've often had, you know, we would be recording vocals, and I can tell my singer is feeling a little bit, you know, a little bit tense. I can hear it in their voice. And I asked the people in the room, hey, do you guys want to go grab a coffee for an hour? We're going to record vocals, come back in an hour. Can you guys pick me up a coffee? And I'll send out people out of the room, and then it's just amazing. It's just like, you know, there's no more judgment. There's no more, oh, I don't want to make a mistake in front of anyone. And you're all tensed up. You just sing, and you just sing your part with no, nothing held back, you know. So that's one thing, you know. And if you're in the studio by yourself and you're recording yourself, just that's doing these 3 things, like practicing what you're going to sing. And the second thing, get in the mood. Whatever the mood is, get into that mood, and then just sing it. You've already done the work, you've already done the practice, but you've got to do those 3 steps. Then just sing it and get out of your head. Don't be thinking, oh, what about the verse? What about the chorus here? Or should I go up on that note, or should I go down? Just sing whatever you decided to, and just go for it. and then you can come back later and you can edit things up. And the cool thing is, if you do all these 3 steps, the cool thing is you can always go back and touch up one word if it just doesn't work, or change one melody or one line or one little, those are easy, but the overall feeling of the song, you got it, you've got that vibe. And so yeah, so I want to give you those three tips to what to do before you push record. All right, guys, so if you've got those 3 things down, number 1, prepare before you record. Number 2, get into the mood. And 3, get out of your head. If you've got those points and you're like, okay, well, what kind of song do I write? What kind of theme? Head over to my website at thesecrets2musicsuccess.com and download the free PDF of my top 20 themes for that every music supervisor is looking for. These themes, like, there's no point writing a song and like, why aren't I getting placements? There's a reason, because your theme is not on the kind of themes that are often requested or needed by music supervisors or publishers, or the theme is just not, the title of the song is just not drawing it enough. And so go ahead and download that, and included in that I'm giving away mixing tips and pop songwriting tips. So both those, just go over to the website. The link will be below, and download those. And and I'll see you next time.